What is up, you guys? It is Zach, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry I'm a little bit late on this topic. I've been doing Back 4 Blood week last week, and I really wanted all the attention to be focused on those videos. If you haven't watched them, there's a whole playlist on my channel where you can go and watch all those cool Back 4 Blood videos I uploaded. But, nonetheless, Nintendo is contracting Bandai Namco to work on a Nintendo Remaster. Now, all we really know about this update, or I guess not really a leak, but these job listings, is that it's for a Nintendo 3D action game, and it'll be remastered / potentially remade, but I'm not quite sure on that. And for me, this is actually something really cool to think about, because I honestly want Nintendo to remaster some of their older games and bring them back, or should I say more of their older games. And I don't mean just Wii U ports, I mean I want to see N64, GameCube, Wii. I want to see those games get remastered, remade, and brought to modern times. Because I think, particularly for, obviously not the N64, but the GameCube and the Wii, I think seeing them on the Nintendo Switch Online service is kind of a hopeful wish that might not get fulfilled, at least anytime soon. So I really want a good way to play good GameCube and Wii games on the Nintendo Switch. And there are a few games that I really do think would benefit from a complete remaster, not just being ported like, most games on the Nintendo Switch Online service are, but being reworked, being gone into, tampered with, tinkered with, all that kind of stuff. So what I've done is I've compiled a list of Nintendo's 3D action titles, not all of them, but some of them that I think could potentially be remastered. Now, the first one on this list I actually did figure out is not classified as an action game, it's just an adventure game. But some of these games aren't just action. Some of them are action-adventure, some of them are action platforming, etc., etc. So those are the classifications I have for the list, minus the first game. So without any further ado, guys, well, first of all, if you like this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, but let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to get the non-action one out of the way that I put in the list and the thumbnail, but I kind of got to mention it, and that's Chibi Robo. I kind of get how this game isn't an action game, but I just want to see this game remastered, man. I want to see this game come back. They really screwed up Chibi Robo with Ziplash and just really crapped on its name, and I know Bandai Namco didn't make Chibi Robo initially, but I still think it'd be really cool to see Chibi Robo get a complete remaster. Just make the game look all spiffy, because the game actually looks pretty decent for what it is. But I do think a little new coat of paint, maybe some refinements, Chibi Robo could be an amazing addition to the Nintendo Switch lineup of games as a complete remaster, and maybe even a fresh start for the series, because like I said, they really messed up with Ziplash. They took the series in a completely different direction and said, if this game doesn't sell well, that's the last game we're going to sell. You can't just change the general direction of the game and say, oh, this will be it if you don't buy it. Like, come on. Oh, at least the amiibo was cool. But nonetheless, Chibi Robo, I know it's not an action game, but I'm putting it here because I love the game. Please remaster it. The next game is kind of the obvious one I'm going to talk about, Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion, I honestly didn't think qualified as an action game, but when I looked it up, sure enough, it said action-adventure in the title. So, Luigi's Mansion is in contention for being remastered. By Bandai Namco, I feel like it'd be a bit weird. I don't know, I just never would think of Bandai Namco remastering Luigi's Mansion. I have Grezzo stuck in my head for that. But nonetheless, Luigi's Mansion on the potential list of games to be remastered, heck yes, I freaking love that. Remaster Luigi's Mansion. I'd say even remake it. I want Luigi's Mansion to be remade. I'm sure I did a video talking about what I'd want out of a Luigi's Mansion remake, but remake the game, refine the animations, make it look good, just do it, Nintendo. Add a bunch of bonus content to make it worth $60, because you know that's what they would charge. Add in bonus content to make the game longer, have more replayability. Do that. Make the game look good, make it all spooky and stuff, and it would sell like hotcakes. If Luigi's Mansion 3 could surpass 10 million units, the Luigi's Mansion Remake might not be able to surpass 10 million, but it would be decently in the running, and I honestly think it needs to happen. Luigi's Mansion Remake, let's make it happen. Next, this one is a real stretch, and it is a 3D action-adventure game, but it is also a scary game, and that is Eternal Darkness. I've heard things about this game's trademark being renewed quite a few times, And, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything, but it means that Nintendo wants to keep that title to them. They want it for future whatever, whether it's marketing or even if it's like Nintendo Switch Online, whatever. But this game is so freaking good. Imagining a modern version of Eternal Darkness. There's so much they could do with this game, particularly with the sanity. Well, first of all, the game does need to be cleaned up a little bit. It definitely has aged a bit, so refining it, making it more modern, but also, you know, with the sanity effects, those are also quite aged. You know, they are more fit for older TVs and other things like that. So, doing more modern things, like let's say you get to put your phone number into the system, right? You put your cell phone number into the game, or that's like an option that you could do, and the game will call you and give you spooky messages. You know, that kind of stuff could be really cool, really immersive, and just really, like, awesome. Like, just imagine that. Eternal Darkness is a horror game that Nintendo needs to do something with. Nintendo is now known as this kid-friendly company, but with a game like Eternal Darkness, there is so much they could do, and I really hope Nintendo doesn't miss the mark with this. Do something with Eternal Darkness. I can make a whole video alone on Eternal Darkness. Maybe I will someday, because it needs it. Such a great game. Hope it comes back. Okay, this is the only game on here that isn't from the GameCube. Or it's not even from the Wii. It's from the 3DS, and the only reason I'm talking about it is because a lot of other people have been talking about it. And I kind of understand why. And that's Kid Icarus Uprising. Kid Icarus Uprising, I'll be honest, I never played it, but I heard that it's a really good game, albeit with kind of wonky controls. But I feel like that's something you could fix on the Nintendo Switch hardware. Now, some people said the controls would be hard to translate, and honestly, we've seen Nintendo kind of translate games, like for example, Super Mario Galaxy, you know, with the motion controls. We've kind of seen it done where Nintendo can translate controls decently well. Well, then there is also Skyward Sword HD, but regardless, I think, well, it would be Nintendo. I think Bandai Namco would be able to do it. But nonetheless, yeah, Kid Icarus Uprising. I never played the game, and I'm sure quite a few other people haven't. The only thing with Kid Icarus Uprising is that I just don't know how relevant Kid Icarus is. Like, a survival horror game for a Nintendo platform, I think would sell well because of the fact that it's a survival horror game, and there's not many of them on the Switch. Kid Icarus, I just don't know. I mean, I know there's a fan base for it, a very loyal fan base for it, but I just don't know. But let me be proven wrong. Every Nintendo franchise that doesn't sell well on previous hardware somehow does wonders on the Switch, and Kid Icarus could be the next golden child for that. So yeah, Kid Icarus Uprising could potentially be the next remaster, and a lot of people are saying it, so we'll have to see. Okay, this one, as well as one other one on the list, aren't exactly Nintendo exclusives. Well, actually, this one was Nintendo exclusive when it came out, but then came out to other platforms. But that's Tales of Symphonia. Now, yes, Tales of Symphonia is an RPG, but it's an action RPG, meaning that it's more action-based in its combat, and it's not turn-based. And honestly, Tales of Symphonia, seeing that remastered and brought to the Switch, I honestly think is probably the most likely thing here. It was originally a Nintendo exclusive back on the GameCube, so I could see Bandai Namco saying, hey, let's remaster Tales of Symphonia and make it a Nintendo exclusive, or maybe even a timed Nintendo exclusive. I think that's very possible, and I know many people might groan, ugh, another RPG, but Tales of Symphonia, I've actually played it. It's honestly a really good RPG. I am not an RPG guy, and many people know this. I don't care for RPGs, but Tales of Symphonia, or any of the Tales games really, are honestly really, really good. And you should give them a shot if you haven't. There is a game on the Switch, I think it's Tales of, which one? Tales of Vesperia, I think, is on the Switch. And I actually honestly haven't played it yet, but you should play it. If you like Tales of Vesperia, if you like the general style of it, then you'll probably like Tales of Symphonia. So, Tales of Symphonia, I think, is honestly the most likely game to come, to be honest. But we'll have to wait and see. But I would love to see it, nonetheless. Okay, this one's kind of a tricky one, and will require a little bit of an explanation. Metroid Prime. Now, of course, there's the rumors about Metroid Prime 1 being remastered, remade, whatever, for the Nintendo Switch. I've heard those rumors. Do I think they're true? I don't know. I personally don't know, don't care. But I think it just makes more sense for Nintendo to do a Metroid Prime trilogy. So what if they're having Bandai Namco remaster the whole trilogy? I mean, they are action games after all. maybe Nintendo heard these rumors about, Metroid Prime Remaster, and were like, huh, that's a good idea. Let's get Bandai Namco to do it. Like, I don't know. And I believe they actually were the ones originally working on Metroid Prime 4 before it got handed back over to Retro Studios. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, anything's possible here. Metroid Prime is primed to come to the Switch, but yeah, I think it makes sense, especially with Metroid Prime 4 probably still being a while away, and Metroid Dread doing really, really well, at least for a Metroid game. I think it's fate. It should come to the Switch. I don't know why. Nintendo literally have a whole Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii. So, like, bring it over. Like with Luigi's Mansion, when I figured out that this game was an action game as well, classified as an action game, I should say, I was actually kind of surprised. And that's Pikmin. Why haven't they brought Pikmin 1 and 2 over? I mean, I know, Pikmin 3 was brought over as a Wii U port, but having all three games, I don't know. I mean, none of the games have really sold that well. I mean, granted, it's because they released them on the GameCube and the Wii U, so, Nintendo's two worst-selling platforms. But I do think bringing the first two Pikmin games to the Switch just kind of makes sense. I mean, the third Pikmin game, I think, did decently. I don't think it sold millions and millions of units, but it sold well for a Pikmin game. So I think bringing the first two back, or maybe even bundling them in with the third game and doing like a double pack of Pikmins 1, 2, and 3, like a trilogy, I think that could be cool. Maybe reduce the price of Deluxe to, let's say, $30 to $40, and then for $60, you can get 1, 2, and 3 in a combo pack. I think that makes sense. I think that's what they should do. But we'll see. This one is probably my least confident one. I really don't think they're going to do this. But it would be cool. I do think Pikmin 1 and 2 should work their way to the Nintendo Switch, even though I don't personally care for the Pikmin series. But, yeah. Alright. Besides Luigi's Mansion and Eternal Darkness, and maybe even Tales, regardless, this is one of those ones that I really want to see. And that's freaking Wario World. Dude, I know there's a lot of people who want a new Wario Land game, but I'm tired of 2D platformer games. I'm tired of New Super Mario Brothers. I don't really care for another Donkey Kong Country. I want more 3D games, like Kirby just had. So please, bring Wario World to the Switch and let people experience this freaking fun platforming action beady-uppy game. It's so much fun. The music is god tier. The enemy design, the level design, everything about this game just oozes Wario charm. Even the freaking pause music. It's such a great game. Such a great package. If they remastered this game, didn't do much else with it because the game does look pretty good on its own. Just needs a little bit of a touch-up. They just remastered it, brought it to the Switch for $60. Easy buy for me. I love this game. It is such a good game. Nintendo, Bandai Namco, please. I think Bandai Namco could do Wario justice. I think Bandai Namco could handle Wario. And I want to see it happen. I really want to see it happen. Okay, so this is a weird game for me to bring up here. This one wasn't even a timed exclusive. It was a multi-platform, but there was exclusive content for Nintendo, and that was Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur 2 had Link as an exclusive fighter for the GameCube version, and the the Xbox and the PlayStation versions had other exclusive characters. Like, I believe the PlayStation might have had Kratos or something. I don't remember. But nevertheless, having Soul Calibur 2 on the Switch remastered could be a really good time. I've played a little bit of Soul Calibur 2, and it is a decently fun fighting game. I played it with my friend Michael, like, years ago, so I don't remember too much of it. But I do remember it being a pretty fun and solid fighting game. It was a very popular game. A lot of people really liked it back on the GameCube, so it's obviously popular enough and has a good name to it to sell well, and it is a Bandai Namco property, and which could make Nintendo licensing Bandai Namco to do it a little bit fishy, as well as Tales of Symphonia, but I still think that it would be really cool for them to do it. Having more cool fighting games on the Switch would be awesome, especially now that Smash is over. Having Link come back for Soul Calibur 2 Remaster, or even having more characters come in, maybe like having Mario or Samus or someone else coming into this remaster to make it even more umphy. I don't know, it could bring a lot of people and it could sell really well. That's what I think, at least. Okay, so the last games I have here is another one that many people are talking about. A lot of people are talking about these two, and that's Star Fox. Particularly Star Fox Adventure and Star Fox Assault. I'll be honest, I haven't played either of these. I heard that they're kind of mid-tier Star Fox games, so I heard a lot of people like, oh, which one is it? Is it Adventure that a lot of people like, or is it Assault? I don't remember. But either way, there is a following for these games. Now, Rare actually initially developed these games, so I don't know what the licensing for that would be. I mean, I'm sure Nintendo has the full rights to it, even though Rare developed the game. Right? Like, is that how that works? I mean, I presume it'd be like Diddy Kong Racing. Oh, no, because Diddy Kong Racing has Banjo and Conquer in it, I believe. Either way, I do think we need a Star Fox game on the Switch at this point. It's like one of Nintendo's only IPs that has absolutely no new representation on the Switch. And by new representation, I mean like a Switch game. It could be a remaster or a port, but I'm meaning outside of the online service. We should get a new Star Fox game at some point, even if it's, like I said, a remaster of Assault or Adventure. And I think Bandai Namco could do it. And I kind of hope they do. I would love to see Star Fox make a comeback, especially after the very mixed reception of Star Fox Zero. So there you have it, guys. Those are the games I wanted to talk about for this Nintendo remaster job listing thing. I think there's a lot of potential with this, and I'm personally really excited to see what they do. I personally really want them to do Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion really needs something. Listen, maybe it's a Luigi's Mansion fanboy in me, but seeing this game remade, remastered for Nintendo Switch, beautiful. Would really love to see it. But what do you guys think? Is there a specific game that you would like to see Nintendo remaster? Let me know down in the comments down below. I'd really love to hear what you have to say. And, yeah, so with that, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff down below. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified of when I upload videos. And check out the merch store. There's some cool ZakPak merch up on there for you to check out. And until next time, you guys, I'll see you in the next video.